going to be. The citizens of Pinellas County and the county commissions can save millions of dollars a year on beach projects. How? By stepping up to the plate and evaluating a sustainable system that has been successfully used throughout the world. Here are some of the examples of what can happen. At the top was an eroding beach. At the bottom is the same shoreline after applications of the Holmberg sustainable system. Here we have another shoreline and how it looked 12 years later. Not only has the beach reformed, but you can see grass and trees growing, and dunes have formed. We can have this in Pinellas County if we really want to. In this next set, not 12 years later, but 45 days later, look at the difference a few days can make. This can happen on Upham Beach and can benefit all the citizens of Pinellas County. Here is a news story as reported by Bob Height on News Channel 8 attesting to the seriousness of our problem.
Beach renourishment. It's a peaceful sounding name for a powerful process. Basically, beach renourishment is a matter of sucking up sand where it is not needed and pumping it out where it is. A project that is traumatic to the environment at both points. At the Barrow site, anything living on or in the bottom is obliterated by the dredging, and surrounding waters are defiled by the accompanying silt and turbidity. At the renourishment site, anything alive on or in the bottom is buried alive, such as these sand fleas doomed by the impending Indian Shores renourishment project.
That's what's going to get covered over. There's another one.
Beach renourishment began to be adopted as Florida's solution to erosion back in the 1960s. But of the scores of projects completed since then, few remain. Taxpayers spend millions of dollars to move sand around, only to watch it wash away again.
Barrier islands are a very dynamic community. Like that old bumper sticker says, life is a beach. Why that came about is because it's always shifting. Your sand is always shifting.
Phil Easer is the park manager at Honeymoon Island. It was recently the site of a beach renourishment project. It lasted only 6 months.
We have learned from it that you don't put the cart before the horse, that it needs to be carefully planned out and studied first.
But many renourishment projects, including this one, have been undertaken with an adequate scientific study beforehand. Meanwhile, extensive study by scientists at Duke University indicates most renourishment projects last less than 5 years. According to members of the Special Beach Committee of Indian Shores, waterfront residents were overwhelmingly opposed to the impending beach renourishment project here, but it has been pushed through anyway.
I'm concerned about the covering of the hard and soft bottom material that's been found off the shore of Indian Shores. I'm concerned about Egmont Key and the removal of more sand from Egmont Key.
In light of Florida's budget crisis and cutbacks in our schools, many residents are also concerned about the priority renourishment projects are being given when most last less than 5 years, while an education lasts a lifetime.
Why should we look at sustainable solutions to beach erosion such as Dick Holmberg's? First of all, Pinellas County has 20 miles of critically eroding beaches. This is 55% of our entire shoreline. Florida has dumped more sand on our beaches than any other state except New Jersey. Beach renourishment projects have become as much a part of the state's infrastructure as road paving. State and federal funds, however, are drying up. The price of pumping and trucking sand will continue to climb, while supplies of fresh sand will continue to dwindle. Second, environmentally, nesting sea turtles and near-shore sea life necessary for seabird survival are in jeopardy. Third, and most important, financially, Florida shores are a bigger draw than Disney World. More than 22 million visitors and tourists flock to Florida beaches every year, creating more than 400,000 jobs and $17.7 billion in direct spending. Everything we are as Floridians depends on those beaches. Yet the system we have to maintain them is not working. Why? Because the same group that controls the policies also rules renourishment. Here are the challenges to change. The dredge and fill industry, a monopoly of members of the dredge and fill industry, are on the advisory boards of all the local county and state boards. This small but politically savvy group of coastal engineers controls the lucrative business of rebuilding Florida beaches. Critics say it's an industry that keeps itself in control while refusing to support alternative forms of beach renourishment. Dr. Orrin Pilkey says another group, the lobbyists, controls the politics and creates the institutional inertia that is standing in the way of progress. The Corps of Engineers is another agency. This agency is now under intensive scrutiny for some of its failed inland and coastal projects. Senator Tom Daschle and the military commander of the Army Corps of Engineers co-sponsored a bill to overhaul the embattled Public Works Agency. A study of our national shoreline is now in progress, but it's going to take 14 years to complete. We cannot wait that long. We need to question these legislators, these lobbyists, and the Corps of Engineers. The legislation prohibiting experimental technology for beach widening projects must be tested and changed. We need to fulfill our responsibility as citizens and taxpayers and find a new technology. Here is a brief video example of what could be happening here in Pinellas County.
Beach renourishment continues to be the accepted technology. Ironically, it needn't be. Ironically, because there is an alternative technology that allows beaches to rebuild themselves, and it's been around for years. Called undercurrent stabilization, it is a system developed by Dick Holmberg, a natural earth scientist. Holmberg began studying the problem as a young man while working as a commercial diver. Underwater, he observed the effect of currents firsthand. As his understanding grew, he came to realize the futility of dredge and fill as a solution for our disappearing sand. And so Holmberg became an underwater inventor and entrepreneur. The result, his undercurrent stabilizers, a technology that not only arrests but reverses beach erosion. Studying the forces that cause it, he had found a way to reverse it. He recognized that beach erosion occurs when a current encounters a shoreline with enough energy to lift sand and carry it away. Where harbors and dredged channels exist, the problem is exacerbated, for here, gravity is at work. Sand literally falls into these deeper spaces to be carried out to sea with the tide. Furthermore, associated jetties and other structures obstruct the natural flow of sand along the coastline. Little can be done to reverse this phenomenon, as harbors and channels are essential to commerce. But Holmberg found he could diminish it while completely reversing erosion elsewhere along the shore. He devised a system that simply slows down the current. It can be best likened to speed bumps. Slowed, the current not only has not the energy to pick up sand, it also drops the sand it is already carrying. The result? The beach builds up. This is not theory, it is fact. Fact that, where Holmberg has been allowed to implement his technology, it has been proven time and again, and over a period of time of as much as 30 years.
I moved here 27 years ago, and at the time my house was right where you see the stoop there for going out.
Bob Tate spent almost $30,000 to move his home 150 feet back from his eroding bluff overlooking Lake Michigan. It was after that expenditure that he met a neighbor, Dick Holmberg, who introduced Bob to a system to reverse shoreline erosion.
Take a look and see the beach I've got down there now that I didn't have and never thought I would have again. And my kids and my grandkids are enjoying that.
Here are the unsustainable systems used so far and why they don't work. Breakwaters. In 1986 at Reddington Shores, 7 months after breakwaters were placed, the south and north beaches eroded. In the final report in 1997, Dr. Robert Davis at USF said the shoreline here is continuing to retreat. This is a good testimony arguing removal of the structures. Just think, in Upham Beach in 1988, when they were put in, it cost $1.6 million to place 75,000 cubic feet of sand, and it washed out in a matter of months. Now they want to do it again. Groins, they cause deficits of sand down current and require maintenance and repair. Dredge and fill, they cause induced erosion, they steepen the beach geometry at the shoreline, they have negative impact on the neighboring reefs, negative effect on marine life, and are expensive and they are short-term. The other structures tried are rocks and seawalls, which destroy habitat and do not create a beach. We need to look at a system which has been documented and proven elsewhere. In Saudi Arabia, the Holmberg system saved an entire town from falling into the Gulf of Arabia. A review of the Holmberg system in their magazine states, it offers a permanent, affordable, and environmentally sound alternative. This one-time installation of undercurrent stabilizers can prevent environmental damage and save millions of tax dollars. In summary, we can't keep spending this money. It's not going to be there. We can't surcharge banks, hotels, and other coastal beneficiaries to pay for costly beach projects that don't work. A total of $29 million has been wasted on beach renourishment over a 5-year period. That comes to $16,000 per day. That money could hire 200 new teachers per year and improve a health care system for the elderly. There is a sustainable solution. A partnership between Holmberg Technologies and Pinellas County will lower the cost of beach projects and provide a permanent solution for our eroding beaches. What will our legacy be?